What's going on, guys? Doing a commentary over a video of me rebuilding the Heat I did very recently. This was a very fun challenge to do. It was also really hard. I did it once before this video right here, but I traded away most of the key players, and I really didn't like doing that. Mainly because Chris Bosh has a huge contract in this game. He has like 20 something million a year, and it's hard to get free agents with him. So I wanted to get rid of him, but then I was like, all right, I can still build with him. The Heat are still pretty good. I can expect them to do well this season, the 2016 season. And right away, I'm getting rid of some contracts I don't want. So I traded away Chris Anderson for Chris Humphries. I'm looking for to give away Mario Chalmers, and I get Mo Williams in return, which I actually like because Mo Williams is a one-year contract, and he's actually a very good player. And now I'm looking to get rid of Luol Deng and Josh McRoberts. I like both players. Luol Deng not as much, but they both have pretty big contracts. Luol Deng, I believe, has a player option, so I trade him away for Tyreke Evans, who's pretty young and versatile, and I'd like him on my team. So right now I'm looking for some free agents I can get, and a lot of them I can't sign because I have a big contracts left, so I end up signing Steve Nash, and I'm simming through my first season right now. Don't really care about this first season because we really don't have anyone too special. I mean, we do have Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade and Dragic, which is not that bad, and Whiteside's a good defender and rebounder and whatnot. Then we have Tyreke at small forward, so it's like a decent team, but I'm not expecting too much out of them. I can expect them, when I was playing at the very, very best, I was expecting conference finals, but realistically, if I made it out of the first round, that's probably the best. Because next year, the free agency class is very good because LeBron is always, not always in it, but for the most part, he's usually in it. So I could get LeBron and bring him back to the Heat. I don't know just yet, but I don't want to spoil anything for you of who I signed that offseason. But there's a lot of guys. If I can't get LeBron, Marc Gasol is usually there. I believe Kevin Love sometimes. I don't know off the top of my head if he usually is. There's always Jefferson and Millsap and Butler. So there's a lot of guys in that free agency that you can get who are all very good. So that's why I'm trying to save a lot of money going into that offseason. And I actually try to do well this year because I don't think the Heat have their first round pick from this year. So it doesn't matter at this point if I do bad or not because I'm not going to get a pick out of it. I believe I do have a second rounder though, which I don't even go into the draft for, because by the time the second round hits, you might catch a 70 overall if you're lucky, if you're like the 31st or the 35th pick, because maybe a guy like Cameron Payne might slip that far. There's a lot of guys who are like top 10 rated that always slip, but here's the awards. Westbrook wins MVP, not surprising. Davis for Defensive Player of the Year, and I didn't really slow down enough to see the rest of the award winners. So if you wanted to see it, you can go back and pause. Sorry about that. I go through this way too quickly. But here's all the teams. I'm not going to read the names or whatever. I was looking for any guys from the Heat, and I don't believe a single Heat player made any awards team. And I believe we were the 6th seed. I'm trying to look. I think that's the 6th seed, which is not that bad considering that real life they didn't make it, but there were a lot of injuries. And we end up losing in the first round. So whatever happens, the Thunder end up winning, and of course Westbrook wins MVP, or Finals MVP. And I did sign Steve Nash in that free agency at the very beginning, and he retired. So right now to the offseason, I'm getting rid of Eric Spoelstra. I personally don't like him as a coach. I know he won 2 championships, but for the most part, I felt like he was just right off LeBron. So I'm going to sign Mike Budenholzer to a long-term contract. He's a very good coach. And he did help out the Atlanta Hawks team in real life to a very successful season. They did kind of break down at the end, but can't blame it 100% just on him. So I'm showing you all the people who I have in free agency, and I try to give contracts to most of my guys. Tyler Johnson was the other guy, besides my top guys, who wanted to sign with me, and I was like, he's not really worth it. So right there I got Michael Qualls in the draft, and I don't sign either Dwayne Wade or I think Whiteside were the two because I have a chance to get LeBron. So I give him a max contract with a player option and a no trade clause to make him super happy. And we get LeBron back in Miami. So I signed Dwayne Wade, and I'm looking for Dragic, But Dragic left, probably the absolute second free agency started, and I couldn't sign Mo Williams for some reason because I don't have his bird rights. It's just fucking stupid. Like, that's one of the things I get pissed about in this game. I don't know if you can do it in real life or not. I took out the hard cap, but I get that I traded for him halfway through a season, but I still can't sign that, and I just didn't like that at all. So I'm showing you the absolute madness that goes through my head when I'm doing rebuildings, because usually I cut out the part where I'm going through other free agents. This is literally what I do. I scroll through every free agent, click on them, and I'm like hoping that one of them is going to be like, oh, I don't want that much money. But for the most part, they all want a lot of money, so I can't sign anyone really big. But I do get Dwayne Wade and Whiteside back. So my starting five will now consist of Shabazz will be the point guard. Shooting guard is Dwayne Wade. LeBron's a small forward. Chris Bosh and Whiteside are the two big men. And then my sixth man is going to be Tyreke Evans. Tyreke could start at point guard. It's a 6'6" point guard, but I'll keep him off the bench, as he will be very successful in that role, so he doesn't have to go up against the best guys in the NBA for the most part. So I send LeBron to perimeter shooting, because his shooting stats in this game are pretty, I wouldn't even say bad, they're just not good. I believe he has like a C three-pointer, and his mid-range is good, but he can always help on his three-pointer, since 2K released that update that screwed everyone's three-point rating up. Anyways, I'm simming another season, and this is the season that I'm like, all right, we should start winning big time now, because we have a pretty good starting five. Because Shabazz at this point, I think he's like an 81 or an 82. He's in that range, which is a decent point guard, starting point guard. That's about league average, I believe. And the rest of our team, at least for our starting five, are either really good or above average, where LeBron's the best small forward in this game rating-wise, I believe, at this time. Chris Bosh is a very good scorer. Dwayne Wade he's really old, so he lost most of his athleticism at this point, but he's still pretty good to play with. And Whiteside's probably 26 at this point, so he's reaching his prime. And then Tyreke Evans off the bench is almost unfair, because most of the time you don't get a guy who's like 83 or an 84 overall coming off the bench and doing that well. Unless you're the Spurs and you got like Manu Ginobili, even though right now he's like a 73, if that. Because he dwindles down very quickly in this game, which is kind of weird. But anyways, we're coming towards the end of the season. We had a pretty good season. Nothing too spectacular. Don't remember the record off the top of my head, but it was good enough to get its decent seeding. So we're getting close to the award winners. And, well, at least the little preview on my thing shows it, but we're not there yet. Anyways, we're dwindling down to the end of the season. I believe we finished 55 and 20 something. I can't really say. He won't say it. D'Angelo Russell wins Rookie of the Year, and Tyreke Evans wins Sixth Man of the Year. I didn't know that would happen, but that was pretty impressive. Kevin Durant did win MVP. Defensive Player of the Year was Anthony Davis once again, and Most Improved Player was actually Kevin Love, which is really surprising. And I'm looking at all the injuries, and all these guys are really hurt. You got Derrick Rose. I mean, not Derrick Rose. Russell Westbrook. I thought it said broken vertebrae. Kevin Love's out for the season, and I believe it said Kevin Durant is out for a while too. I have a lot of injuries too, as you could see right there, that little quick flash. So I'm like, all right. I don't think the Thunder are going to make it far. So we're simulating the first round up against the Pacers. We have the second seed, which is usually what the Heat had back in the 4 years that LeBron was there. They'd always have the second or first seed, and they'd always do really well. And right here, we're going up against the Hornets, and for some issue, we're having a big freaking struggle against the Hornets. Hassan is still hurt, which means like we definitely need a big man, but it really shouldn't be that bad, especially since Chris Bosh is big enough to play the center. We could have Bosh at center, LeBron at power forward, and Tyreke at small forward, and we just our bench would be a lot worse, but we would still have a really good starting five. So I don't know why we're struggling that bad, that we're losing games to the Hornets. So I'm simcasting all these games because I don't want to lose in the friggin' second round to the Hornets as the Miami Heat, that are pretty much the Miami Heat of old, but they now have a much better supporting cast, it seems, because they never had a great supporting cast around their big three. Like, they were really good, but nothing as spectacular as this. So it's cutting down, and I'm getting nervous. We're losing, but we end up having a huge comeback right there, like a 5-point comeback in like a split second. So it's tied 3-3, and this is to make it to the conference finals. So I'm simcast in this game. I burped a little bit and it felt like I was about to vomit. That happens a lot, actually. But we're simcast in this last game, and we're winning for most of the time. At least for right now, I am. And I know this is the most important game of this series because winner go home, and I don't want LeBron to be pissed that he's missing out on another finals ring. And we're simming, and we end up winning by 19 in a very low-scoring game. So we're going up against the Cleveland Cavaliers, his old team that he just abandoned to go to his old team. This is really weird to even talk about because I don't even know how to say it, where LeBron played for Cleveland, left Cleveland for Miami, left Miami for Cleveland. Why I can't even say it. Left Miami for Cleveland, then left Cleveland for Miami again. Like, that's something alright. And I thought we were losing 3-0 in this series for some reason, but I was looking the wrong way, and we were actually winning 3-0, and I simcast it for no apparent reason, and we sweep the Cleveland Cavaliers on our way to the finals as a second seed. And so we simcast, and the Blazers and the Spurs are the two teams. I like the Trailblazers, but they end up losing to the Spurs. So we're going to be simming these games. Hopefully we can sweep again. And we're up 3-0 versus the Spurs. And we know we're going to win. Once you're up 3-0, it's almost impossible to lose it. So we're simcasting Game 4 in San Antonio, reliving 2 NBA Finals appearances that happened very recently. And in this game, we're losing most of the time, but it's Game 4. We have a 3 win, so it doesn't really matter. We lost the first game. Don't really care too much anyways, because, I can still come back and win. Not even come back, but I can still win. So I'm simming the second game, simcast in a second game, which is Game 5. And it's a very close game. It's going back and forth for the most part. They'll take a lead, then we'll take a lead. They'll take a lead. They'll tie it up. It's going back and forth. So I'm wondering, maybe I can't win this game. And it's very close, but I do want to win at home. And with about, 33 seconds left, we're up 6. So I'm like, all right, we can win at home. I just need to take good possession of the ball, and I throw it away. So that's me, all right. And right here, Dwayne Wade fouls freaking Tim Duncan, I believe, on the way to the rim, giving him an and 1. So with 28 seconds left, they're up. We're only up by 4. They have a big chance of coming back. And I'm not even nervous because, I still had 2 games after this, but I'm just kind of pissed that I gave up a layup like that. So I'm just trying to get it up court somehow. Pass it to Chris Bosh for some reason. Again, and he's going up for a layup, and he just throws it to Whiteside. And I'm just trying to get the ball around. Because for the most part, they have, I think it's 4 seconds left, or the difference between shot clock and game clock, and I can live with that. But Dwayne Wade hits a floater in the lane to give us a 5-point lead. I'm not even playing defense with Shabazz. They grab the offensive rebound, and he ends up losing it. And Whiteside's trying to pass it up court. We get it to Dwayne Wade, who throws it to the side to LeBron, where number 25, which looks absolutely horrendous on him. But we end up winning the NBA Finals once again. Dwayne Wade gets his 4th ring. Chris Bosh and LeBron both get their 3rd rings. And LeBron moves to 3 and 4 in the finals, maybe. I don't remember what happened last year in this simulation, but LeBron finally gets another ring in Miami. I know he didn't get a 3-peat, but he's moving on up to the not 2, not 3, not 4 promise he supposedly made. And Tony Parker actually didn't play much for some reason. I don't know why he wasn't out there at the end, because Tony Parker played very well against the Heat in the 2 finals that they were in. So that was kind of weird. So we're celebrating. We're having a good time. And we're about to go to the podium to see who the finals MVP is. And just a little highlights. And they only show highlights of when you play, so it's going to be like 2 freaking plays. Like, they just show Tim Duncan stopping. Like, that's how little it is. And LeBron's holding up the golden nugget. We now know that he won finals MVP like he always did back in Miami. So this is pretty special, seeing LeBron back in Miami. He's winning finals MVP, winning finals once again. So this is pretty cool to actually watch. I wish he was wearing number 23. I should have changed it, but I was too lazy. So I'm going through the teams right now to show you who's on the teams and whatnot. And my team isn't too surprising because you saw all of it. And I don't think the Spurs really changed too much either. Matt Bonner didn't play at all, which is kind of sad, man. White boy dreams. And Tim Duncan actually had a decent rebounding game with 13 rebounds. And they actually have the same exact team as they had this year, I believe, like in real life. So here it is. LeBron wins Finals MVP. He had decent shooting numbers, and they're all pretty good all around. So this is dwindling down to the end of the video. Please like, comment, share, subscribe if you liked any of this. Thanks for watching, guys. Tune in next time. Peace.